still out here at the Boathouse in Forest Park at a fundraising event for Aldermanic candidate for the 3rd Ward, Jeff Hardin. We're just going to get a chance to introduce you guys to him and get his perspective on things that are going on in the city and in the 3rd Ward, and that'll be about it. So here we go. Mr. Hardin, how are you tonight?
I'm great, sir, and thanks for talking with me. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I wanted to ask you, what makes Jeff Hardin the best option that the citizens of the 3rd Ward here in St. Louis have for their alderman?
Primarily vision. We have vision. I mean, we have community, which has kind of been dormant for the last several years, and or should I say decades. And we have an opportunity to do some things that are going to be more progressive, moving our community forward, and involving our youth while caretaking for our senior population that are there now.
And why should voters, like, why would they want to even consider voting for Jeff Hardin over seasoned Alderman Bosley Sr.?
Well, because number one, I have a plan, a written plan. It's called the Hardin Plan. And we have introduced that plan to them in the ward. And all of them understand that there are sections and sectors of our community that has been underserved, and we're in the process of changing that now. So they would deal with me in terms of selecting me as the best candidate simply because the plan includes them.
I see. Why do you think that the city has had a spike in crime and murder, and what's the best approach to handle it, in your opinion?
The best approach to deal, number one, with the crime issue and the activities of our youth and the search that they have for their place in our communities, that we have to engage them. And the only way to engage them is to involve them in the growth of the community that they live in. And that's by opportunities for employment, creating opportunities for home ownership, and yes, at a point where we have cultural events and cultural things that allow them to be involved and engaged with other sectors of our community so we can bring our city together as a whole.
I see. So you actually feel that instead of just like trying to police the problem away and lock these desperate individuals up, that they should actually have some options and some things that they could be a part of.
Exactly, and they also have voices. So with that, the voices of these young folks and that are getting to all these different issues in terms of crime and drug activity, they're reaching out and they're asking us, well, what's left for me? If I'm not involved in drugs, if I'm not involved in criminal activity, what are my options? And I think that is the task at hand for the leadership, is to develop those options.
Okay. Specifically, what's going on in the 3rd Ward?
Well, you have a direction of total rental development. Michelle Duffy, for one of the major developers that is operating in the 3rd Ward in the Salisbury area, Hyatt Park area, we have 100% of those properties are dedicated to Section 8 housing. You are not going to stabilize this community or any community with 100% Section 8 housing. There has to be a balance, and we're not saying that we can't have Section 8 housing. We are saying that there must be a balance in terms of home ownership and Section 8 housing so that we can create the type of community environment that we're looking to have.
I see. What do you think about Mr. Bosley saying in the Riverfront Times that he played you cheap last time around? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's just political talk. I don't think that any politician seated or candidate seeking office plays any opponent cheap. I think what you find out in talking with your base is that you may have gotten out of touch with your base and that you may have fallen off point in terms of where the ward would like to move in the direction that it chooses to go. And that is that as elected officials, as people that would want to serve our community, the word serve, it doesn't just say it. It's supposed to be followed by the actions and activities of your office. So I don't think he played me cheap. I think that what I was able to do was communicate with the base of our voters in the 3rd Ward and provide them with a better option.
And you were just 19 votes shy of bringing it on home last time around.
Well, that's what they say. They say it was 19 votes.
Right, and so you think there's a pretty good chance that Jeff Hardin could win the seat this time around?
Well, you have some people that are working to keep that from happening. You have Maxine Johnson, you have Anthony Bell, both of whom worked on my campaign prior, but they don't have a plan. So they may bend some votes in their direction. My hope is that they don't bend enough votes that keeps the alderman in and then allows them to go on about their business without making any change opportunity available to our community.
Okay, well, Mr. Hardin, I know you got a house full of guests. I just want to ask 2 more quick questions, and then I'll let you get back to it.
Yes, sir.
What were the voting improprieties that you sued Bosley over? What exactly did you not think was legitimate with the voting process last time around that you felt you had to take him to court about?
Well, the first case dealt with the judges that supervised inside of the voting polls. We didn't have any representation there that allowed us to make sure that there was no discrepancies or count activities that would be skewed to the alderman's side available to him. We lost that because they indicated that there was nothing on record or no proof. I think that went before Judge Dowd, who indicated there was no proof of any improprieties. Therefore, we were ruled against. But then we turned around and we had voting boxes open, the Penrose location, where people were actually going in and voting, and the voting box was unlocked and open. So, we don't know what transpired from the time that the voting polls closed because we didn't have any representation inside of those voting polls. Our process is far from perfect, but it can be definitely improved.
I see. And the last question would be, why do you think that that the corruption and political infighting in local politics is concentrated more in predominantly African American communities?
Mainly because we're disengaged, for the most part. We're not in mass, in numbers, attending enough community forums, engaging community developers and politicians that are moving about in our communities. We're struggling so with our day-to-day lives that we have forgotten that in order to maintain or to move upward, we have to be involved. And that is the reason why the criminal element, the developers that don't do the checks and balances operate in our communities because we are not requiring them to be accountable for their activity.
I see. Well, good luck on the race. Thanks so much for letting me come out. There you have it, Jeff Hardin for 3rd Ward. Mr. Bosley, I extended an invitation to you to rebuttal Mr. Hardin's pitch. It seems like Mr. Hardin is serious about the 3rd Ward. So, Mr. Bosley, what makes you the best candidate to run the 3rd Ward? My invitation is extended to you to answer that question. I can be reached at 314-327-2741 or on Twitter @_Talal Ahmad, TALALAHMAD, or someone can comment to the video. So that's about that. Good night.